Story time. This is how I was able to meet Mr. Beast and his squad. So back in like 2018, 2019, I think it was like right before COVID hit, Mr. Beast had put up this casting call, I guess you can call it, or something, on Twitter, and it was basically like, send in a video nominating someone who you think is an amazing person. And I ended up submitting a video pretty much talking about my mom and how she's so amazing and things that she's done and the things that she's been through. Yeah, so basically they were like, nominate someone amazing in your life and why they're amazing, and I nominated my mom because she is amazing. And I want to say like a week later, they had contacted me by email and were like, we really loved your video and the person that you nominated. We wanted to know if you wanted to fly to North Carolina to participate in a challenge to win, I think it was like 100,000 or more. And I was like, hell yeah, like I'm ready. Yes, I want to do it. So at this time, I hadn't started school yet. And I was like literally flipping signs on the side of the fucking street in LA. And I was telling my mom, I'm like, man, I'm out here flipping signs. Like, this is not what I imagined for myself. This is not what I wanted to do. But I had told her, I was like, I just got a response back from MrBeast about. So I'm like, you have to fly out to North Carolina with me to participate in the challenge. I don't think you have to do the challenge, but I'm like, whatever they have us do, I'll do it. You don't got to worry about it. All you got to do is sit on the plane and show up. And she's like, MrBeast. My mom is very religious, y'all. She's like, MrBeast. Beast is a sign of the devil. And I'm like, no. I said, MrBeast is just his name. And she was like, no, that sounds like it got some demonic stuff going on. I'm like, Mom, you about to pass up the chance to get like $100,000 plus. I was like, okay, go watch his YouTube videos, see what he's about, see what type of person he is, and then get back to me, because I'm out here flipping signs right now. I don't want to do this. It's not demonic or evil or nothing. So just look at his videos and get back to me. I sent her the link. She watched the videos. She hit me back like 30 minutes later crying. She's like, oh, he seems like a really nice person. He's so sweet. He helps a lot of people. So I'm like, okay, so do you want to go? Like, do you want to do it? And she was like, are you going to do the challenges? I'm like, yes, I will do everything. I don't care what they have us doing. I will do it. And she was like, okay, let them know I'll come. So I'm like, okay, perfect. So I get back in touch with their assistant. And I'm like, she said yes. Book our flights, we on the way. So they ended up booking our flight like a few weeks out, like 2 weeks out. And I lived in LA and my mom lived in the Bay. So I wanted to get on the flight with my mom there. So they got her a private jet to LA. I had to pick her up from Burbank Airport. And then, actually Van Nuys Airport. I picked her up from Van Nuys, and then we went to Burbank Airport. And then we went to North Carolina from there. Yes, baby, what's going on? So we land in North Carolina a couple hours later. It's literally nothing but trees and land and more trees. We get picked up by one of his assistants, I think Dustin and Hunter, and they picked us up in these nice Sprinter vans. So they ended up taking us to a nice hotel, which was completely paid for. Plane tickets were completely paid for. We check into the hotel. They're like, you guys have, this whole day to get ready for the challenge because we start tomorrow in the morning. Cool. So we rest up, we shower, all of that, get some food. They take us to the place where they were holding the challenge, and I think it was a stay in a circle challenge. So they explained the challenge rules to us, and I was ready. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to beat this. And basically you had to stay in the circle for a certain amount of time and beat out everybody else, and we were all in separate rooms, so we wouldn't know. So we got started with the challenge. It was like 3 or 4 other families there. I think it was a total of 4 guys and 4 girls. So it was me and my mom, another girl and her mom, and then a guy and his roommate, and then another guy, and then I don't think his dad was able to show up. So we get into the room. Oh yeah, and then it was a family, a really nice family. We get into the rooms. We're getting ready to start. The guys come in and try to like tempt us. Oh, will you leave for this amount of money? Can you do this? Can you do that? And we were probably there for like 30 minutes. And then they came back in and they're like, this is not a drill. We're not lying. we have to stop the challenge. And I'm just like, no, they're playing. Like, they just want me to get out the circle. And they're like, no, seriously, Jimmy got sick, so we have to stop the challenge. Like, Chandler and them, I know they play games all day. So I was sitting here like, hell no, I'm not leaving the circle. Like, y'all are lying right now. But no, it was really like, Jimmy ended up getting really sick. He had to go to the hospital. We had only met him briefly when he introduced himself and told us about the challenge. And then he ended up going to the hospital and stuff. So we couldn't do the challenge. Everybody was like really sad and really concerned about him. So they were like, you know, since we can't do the challenge today, we'll possibly do it tomorrow if he's feeling better. But for today, you know, we'll take you guys out to eat and keep you updated on what's going on. So they took us back to the hotel, and they were like, you know, unfortunately, we won't be able to do the challenge, you know, after they got back word up from his doctor about what's going on. And they were like, unfortunately, we won't be able to do a challenge, but they were like, since you guys, you know, took all this time to come down here and participate and everything, we're going to give each and every one of you $5,000. I'm like, wow, I didn't even do anything, but that's okay, that's cool. So they ended up giving everybody that came $5,000. And then since our plane tickets were bought, you know, to return like within a week, they were just like, you guys, we can just hang out and see if he gets better, and then we could do the challenge, or if he doesn't get better, you know, at least we showed you guys a good time, which they did. They took us bowling, they took us to a hibachi grill place. We went to like a dope park that had a freaking zip line. It's like a kids park that had a zip line. They paid for all of our meals, paid for like our hotel. We could order in room service and everything, drove us around everywhere. It was like they took us to like a cool local spot that they go to for like drinks and food. And then we ended up on the last day eating at, I think, Red Robin. And, you know, Chris pretty much explained that Jimmy was not doing pretty good. So we wouldn't have been able to do the challenge at all. Me and my mom, we ended up buying him a card. And we had everybody, all the participants sign the card. It was just like a get well soon and thank you for having this card before we left. And yeah, it was a wonderful experience. We didn't have to pay for anything. The only thing I paid for was the cards for Jimmy. Dustin and, ouch, you're hurting me, Hunter did a wonderful job of taking care of us and making sure that we were good. And you know, Jimmy and Chris took good care of us. Chandler was really nice. Everybody showed us a lot of love. They were very kind. They were very nice. And it was just a great experience overall, and I would do it again. You know, minus Jimmy getting sick because I was feeling really bad for him. But if I had another chance to do a challenge, I would definitely do it because it was just the funnest time ever. Like, even though we didn't get to do the challenge, we still had a really good time, to the point where my mom, she was like, oh, I'm so glad that I changed my mind and we ended up coming because I had such a good time and everybody is so nice and so sweet. I was like, thank you. You about to let your religion keep you from this just because the dude's name. I said, girl, you say, I'm going to the gym, I'm going beast mode all the time. Then you meet somebody named MrBeast and you're like, oh no, that's the devil. Like, girl, if you would have passed this opportunity up, I would have been mad. But we went home with a free $5,000 and an all expenses paid trip.